All right, hello once again, eighth graders and parents. Today we're going to go over HB5, that's House Bill 5 Graduation Plan, and specifically what it takes to be able to graduate from high school. So, what is HB5? During a previous Texas legislative session, state leaders in Austin approved House Bill 5, and this was a few years ago. In fact, this year, the current year, the seniors this year, they're the first graduating class to graduate under this bill, and that's HB5. And what it was designed to do was to instill more flexibility in public education by providing graduation planning, enabling students to follow a traditional path into colleges and universities, or move more directly into the workforce. So it provided more choices. It used to be just primarily for four-year university students, but House Bill 5 expanded high school graduation options to allow for students to go directly into the workforce for students that they didn't have as many options for. But again, here at CSA, we're still dedicated to the four-year university and prepping you for the four-year university. So we're not going to see the full extent of House Bill 5, but it is the bill that created your graduation plan. All right, so what you were graduating under is known as the foundation plan. And that's the new graduation plan from that. And it replaces anything previous that you've heard of. If you ever heard of the minimum plan or the recommended plan, or even the distinguished plan, and we'll get to that word distinguished a little bit later, that replaces all of that. And now everything is under what's known as the foundation plan. So what is the foundation plan? The actual foundation plan is you must get 4 credits in English, and that's English 1, 2, and 3, and an advanced English course. So 4 credits in English, 3 credits in math, Algebra 1, Geometry, and then an advanced math course. Biology and 2 advanced science courses. One of them could be this course called IPC, but it's 3 credits in science, which has to include biology. U.S. history, government econ, and then either world geography or world history. So 3 years of social studies credits. And again, one has to be U.S. history, one of them has to be government econ, and the other one can be world geography or world history. 1 credit of PE, 2 credits of language other than English, 2 years in the same language. So typically it's called language other than English. Most of you might have heard of it called foreign language. You can get 2 years of foreign language. Just in case also to make sure, credits refer to a year. So if you take a year of U.S. history, you get 1 credit in U.S. history. So for instance, the web communications course that you're in right now is half a credit because it's a 1 semester course. It's half a year. Fine arts, you get 1 credit of fine arts, and that is specifically art, music, theater, or dance. 5 electives. That's a total of 22 credits. And if you get those specific 22 credits, that is the foundation plan, and that's what was required for a high school diploma. Yes?
Are you allowed to go over the amount of credits that you need?
So yes, you are definitely allowed to go over the credits you need. You're definitely allowed to go over the 22. We encourage you to go over the 22 because there's more to graduation than just the foundation plan. But this is the base, basically is how you kind of want to think about it. Yes?
If getting more credits get you in better colleges?
So the question is just to make sure here it is, does getting more credits get you into better colleges? It depends on the credits that you get. So it's not just because, look, I have, let's say, 32 credits, that university is going to love that. What were the 32? What were the 10 on top of the 22? Why did you decide to take those courses? What were they? A university isn't going to necessarily say, wow, look at the student who took so many courses. They would say, wow, look at this student who took so many challenging courses and maintained a high GPA.
If you hear your name, would you please report to Mr. Simon's classroom at this time?
Yes. What was another question? Sorry. Yes. Well, I guess listen for your names.
Johnny Chan, Landon Henniger, Daniel Herbowie, and Elijah McCutcheon. Thank you.
Okay. So those students you report to the office? Okay.
Mr. Simon's room.
Mr. Simon's room. Okay. Sorry, what was the next question?
So those 5 electives, do those generally correspond with the program of study you choose?
So the question is, do those 5 credits typically correspond with the program of study? Depends on what's known as an endorsement, and we'll get to it later. But yes, those credits can typically align with that. Those elective credits. All right. So besides, on top of that, so there's those 22 credits. That's the foundation plan. Another thing you must do to graduate is you must pass 5-star end of course tests. So you've been used to taking STAR tests, but in high school they're referred to as end of course or EOC examinations. So the state says you must pass 5. If you do not pass, you will be given the support and assistance you need to complete a retest. So if you don't pass your first time, we do retest you to get you to be able to graduate. The 5 EOC tests are English 1, English 2, Algebra 1, Biology, and U.S. History. Yes, a question.
Don't you get 2 retakes on the STAR test, or is it just 1?
So for EOCs, you technically get as many as you need in the 4 years to be able to graduate.
Okay.
Yes, another question.
Do colleges look at your EOC scores?
Do colleges look at your EOC scores? Not primarily. They're looking at your GPA and they're looking at your SAT and ACT scores. Universities will receive those scores, and there are certain things for if you decide to take Austin Community College during high school. Sometimes you can use those scores and grades here at different courses that you take to get out of taking certain tests for ACC. But overall, like a 4-year university, no, the actual score you're going to make on there isn't going to matter as far as admissions or anything like that. Yes, real quick, Mahima, and I'll come back to you.
Okay. You said U.S. history. What year of high school did you use that?
Typically, you take U.S. history during your junior year.
Would APUSH be included in that?
So APUSH for U.S. history, AP, the AP version of U.S. history. AP of any of these courses, let me go back. If you take the AP or pre-AP version of any of these courses, it replaces it. So, for instance, that English 1, 2, 3, and then an advanced English course. If you took English 1 pre-AP, that gives you your English 1 requirement. If you took English 2 pre-AP, gives you your English 2 requirement. So, U.S. History AP would give you your U.S. History requirement.
What about would you take an EOC for that for the APUSH class?
You do, yes, and it is unfortunate. Students who are in U.S. History AP. They take it actually usually back to back. One day they take the AP test, and the next day they take the EOC. Yeah, it's not necessarily fun. Do you have another question?
Yeah. So, does the EOC test do they impact your GPA?
The EOC tests do not impact your GPA. Good questions. All right, so let me go a little bit forward. Okay. Another requirement you have is there is a speech graduation requirement. So to receive a high school diploma, your student must demonstrate proficiency in those skills that I have listed there. Delivering clear verbal messages, choosing effective nonverbal behaviors, listening for desired results, and so on. Those skills must be taught to you, and you must master or be proficient in those skills before you graduate. Here at Chaparral Star Academy, what we do is we incorporate these skills into the courses Communication Applications, Public Speaking, Oral Interpretation, Principles of Human Services, Debate 1 or 2, Seminar AP, and Interpersonal Studies. So by taking those courses, one of those courses, you'll be able to earn your speech graduation requirement. So during your 4 years, you will be required to take one of those courses. Either here at CSA, or you can take it through means outside of CSA, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But you are required to get that speech graduation requirement. Yes?
I'm just wondering, so I know so if you take one of these classes or some high school classes in 8th grade, do those credits carry over to high school?
So yes, all of your credits that you take in 8th grade for a specific course, that's a high school level course, they carry over to high school. So for instance, this course right now, Web Communications, is a high school credit. You will come out of this having half elective credit from this course. And you took personal financial literacy the fall semester, that counts as half credit as well. So we've got you covered already at the end of this year, typically for 8th graders, by already having 2 credits under your belt.
Oh, so wait, they would just be counted half credit, and they would be counted as half credit. They wouldn't be like summed up together.
They are summed up together, so half but they're both electives.
Okay.
So you got half fall semester, half spring semester, and then you're also taking, some of you are taking Spanish, or some of you are taking the speech courses that counts for whatever category. So for instance, if you're in Spanish, that counts toward your language other than English. If you're taking speech, or if you're taking public speaking or oral interpretation this year, that counts towards your electives, and it also counts toward your speech graduation requirement. So yes, these courses definitely count for that. Sure.
Foreign languages don't count as an elective?
They do not, because you have to have 2 to graduate. You'll see on a graduation plan, which we will develop, it'll show you the date when you're able to complete this requirement. If you're currently enrolled in a course, however, it's not going to show up on your graduation plan when we develop it until the end of the school year. So if you ever see any piece of paper that says, I don't have it yet, it's at the end of the school year when we populate that you've earned that speech graduation requirement. Another requirement that you have is you must be trained in CPR. So according to the state rule, in order to graduate and receive a high school diploma, you must receive mandatory CPR training. Typically, and those of you who were with us last year, hopefully you remember this, we deliver that training to all of our 7th graders every year. So 7th grade, hopefully you remember going through that CPR training. And we have a certificate on file. You did it during PE. It was during PE class. So you took 7th grade PE. I think you had the dummies at some point.
Our class
Anything?
didn't do that.
Ours didn't do that either.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, luckily what we do is every year we try to catch it up. We try to catch you up. Usually it's during Winter Wonderland that will host all the students who haven't in high school, who haven't received CPR training, to deliver that training again. Yes?
If we've gotten certified for CPR at an outside, like Red Cross or something like that, does that count?
Yes, actually, and that's a student can be exempted from receiving this instruction when the student provides proof of receiving similar CPR instruction from an outside source. So if I at some point say, oh, you haven't gotten your CPR training, I need you to report to this room on this date, and you have something from outside of the school, that's you just submit some proof, and then we'll update your records. Remember, as we go through this, as we're developing your plan, is that you can be anything you want to be. I want to make sure that we're reminding you of that your goals, we're here to help you reach your goals, and to not limit yourself. And the biggest thing of all, of course, is that you can go to college, and that you are able, through our system, to be able to go to a 4-year university and be successful. Okay, so you have the foundation plan, 22 credits. We went through the 22 credits you need. You got to graduate with the speech requirement, CPR, and those 5 EOC courses, EOC tests. On top of the foundation plan is what's known as an endorsement. This is in addition to the foundation plan, and it expands the availability of career and technology courses, those CTE, and encourages you to decide on a personal pathway of study known as an endorsement. So in addition to the foundation plan, a student can choose to take additional courses to earn that endorsement. In order to earn an endorsement, you must take at least 26 credits. So basically it's 4 more. 2 of those 4 additional credits must include an additional math and science course. So it'd bring each of those up to 4 courses that are required. So 4 years of math and 4 years of science. This is going back to what's known as typically the 4x4 plan, where you take your 4 core courses every year of high school. The commissioner and the state of Texas, recommend that all students graduate with an endorsement. Here at Chaparral Star Academy, we expect and encourage all of you to graduate with an endorsement. Yes?
So an endorsement's not required, but you recommend it?
It's not required to graduate from high school, but it is highly, highly recommended. If you're going to be successful at a 4-year university, you're successful in lots of post-secondary goals, you'll need an endorsement. So we highly encourage it. We'd expect all students to be able to graduate with an endorsement, and that's one thing that we go in with a goal. Doing so ensures that you're going to have the maximum opportunity and options available to you. There are 5 possible endorsements that you can have, each with a distinct theme. One is STEM, standing for science, technology, engineering, and math. One is business and industry. There's public services, arts and humanities, and multidisciplinary. So these are the 5 endorsements, and these 5 endorsements are across the state. So if you spoke to a student at another high school, they would all fall under one of these endorsements if they're following an endorsement. Yes, question.
Are you allowed to change your endorsement once you've started?
You are allowed to change your endorsement. You can change your endorsement at any time that you want. The trick is going to be each endorsement has specific requirements. So if you change it, that's great, but you might have to then take a whole bunch of courses to catch up, depending on your endorsement. Yes, question.
Is it possible, or should you get more than one endorsement?
Great question. The question is it possible, and should you get more than one endorsement? So first, yes, it is possible. Whenever you get to graduation, so if I'm about to do this with all current seniors this year, I look back at your transcript and I ask, how many endorsements did this student earn? Not necessarily which one were they going for. How many did they earn to be able to fill out the form to say you took all these courses, they're able to get all of these endorsements. However, should you is another great question. This year's senior class is the first class graduating under this program. Universities have let us know that one endorsement is fine. Having multiple endorsements doesn't necessarily add to a student's competitiveness when it comes to university admissions. However, the courses that are required to get certain endorsements, universities might like to see that. Universities see that you graduated with an endorsement, and that's a check for them. What they look at, though, are the specific courses you took. So they're not necessarily interested in how many endorsements you earned. They're more interested in which courses you took. Now, if the courses you took that they like happen to get you an endorsement or more than one endorsement, that's great. But they're really looking at the course selection. So all students entering the 9th grade will be required to select an endorsement pathway when scheduling courses. So when we meet, or actually before we meet, you're going to choose which endorsement you want to follow. We'll let you know the benefits of that specific plan. Endorsements can be changed at any time. Nothing you're doing is written in stone. The very basics that we're going to be doing through this is just deciding which courses to take next year. We're going to get a plan in action, but every year we're going to reevaluate that plan when it comes to scheduling courses. You may tell me, oh yes, I want to take English 3 AP when I'm a junior. And then when you're a sophomore, time to sign up for junior classes, you may tell me something different. You may plan right now that you're going to go to ACC to take American Sign Language for your 2 languages, right? Your 2 language other than English credits. By the time it comes your junior year, you may have another decision by then. So we're just going to come up with a plan, but we can change things at any time. With written parent consent and a parent meeting are required. However, if you elect to graduate on the foundation plan without endorsements. And the reason is we just want to discuss that because it's much more successful for you to graduate with an endorsement. But that has to be after your sophomore year. So between here and your sophomore year, you have to be on an endorsement path. Students who graduate with no endorsement will be eligible to apply to all 4 years schools in the state of Texas. However, if you don't graduate with an endorsement, you do not qualify for what's known as the top 10 consideration, or the top 10%. That's something that we're going to also go over in our individual meeting, and I have some videos for you about that. But the rule of thumb is basically if you graduate in your class in the top 10%, you are automatically admitted to any public school in the state of Texas. It doesn't mean that you can't get in otherwise. There's plenty of students who don't graduate in the top 10% who get into lots of public universities in the state of Texas. It just means that top 10% are automatically admitted and they just get to choose. However, if you're in the top 10% and you don't have an endorsement, you don't get to choose. Yes, question. So private schools is a different. It's kind of a different ball of wax. They're not going to follow the top 10% rule because it's about public schools. They will look at it, sure. They're going to definitely look at what's known as your class rank, which determines the top 10%. Yes.
And then even if you get top consideration and but you don't want to go to a university in the state of Texas and you want to go somewhere else, where you could do that.
So yeah, if you were to go outside of the state of Texas, again, you wouldn't get automatic admission because top 10% is inside of Texas, but top 10% in your graduating class is going to still hold weight outside of Texas. That's still going to be a great indicator for you, saying that you worked very hard during high school. Is there another question or no?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
How many in our school, doesn't matter, based on the average class size, how many kids fall in the top 10?
Good question. Typically for high school graduation here at CSA, maybe 2 or 3 students fall in the top 10%. So it can be, it's definitely competitive. However, plenty of our students go to numerous public universities with scholarships. So it's not a mark that if you're not in the top 10%, then it's all over. It's far from the truth. It's just that you don't have to fill out the paperwork. Again, the commissioner and the state recommended that all students graduate with an endorsement, and we here at CSA expect and encourage all of you to graduate with an endorsement. Doing so, again, ensures that you have the maximum opportunity and options available to you. So this is a kind of a real quick diagram that I have there. I didn't create it, but to kind of show you, at the bottom you have the foundation plan. That's your 22 credits. You have the possibility of 5 endorsements. So with that, you have 5 endorsements. On top of that, which we'll get to, I think we get to in a second. I hope we do. If you take Algebra 2 and you get an endorsement, and you take Algebra 2 during your high school career, you graduate with what's known as distinguished. You become a distinguished graduate. It's the distinguished level of achievement. So, and that's, again, if you earn endorsement and you take Algebra 2, then you earn the distinguished level of achievement. And then on top of that, you see at the top is performance acknowledgments, and we'll get to those as well. But this to me is just a kind of a great diagram to show you the layers of high school graduation. So again, how it all relates is you have your student interest and ability. That's what we've been doing in here for past few weeks. That creates a program of study, which is what we developed or we went over last time. That leads to your personal graduation plan, which is what we're going to develop during our personal meeting, which therefore determines which endorsement that you want. That's kind of how they all relate. And that's kind of what we did in the orders. We got your interests and abilities, then we help with looking at a program of study, then we'll develop a personal graduation plan, which helps us determine which endorsement it is that you're going to graduate. So what are the ways that you can earn each endorsement at CSA? Given that we're a small school with limited schedule, we can't offer all of the programs of study. So therefore, all of the possible paths in every endorsement. But we can offer every endorsement. So that's exciting. We're very excited that we can offer all 5. It is available on our website. And again, a student can and will most likely earn more than 1 endorsement. So again, we can only guarantee 1, but you're most likely going to end up with more than 1. Yes?
On the program studies, you said they don't, CSA doesn't offer all of them.
Uh-huh.
If there's one that interests you that's not here, could you do it elsewhere?
You could. Well, it depends, and that'd be something that you and I. So the question was, is if there's a program of study that we don't offer here at CSA, is there something? Can you take it elsewhere? So there are possibilities of taking courses outside of CSA, and I can kind of show you that link real quick if we have time at the end. If not, I'll show it to you next time. And so in combination with those courses outside of the school, with the ones here at school, it is possible for us to look into that. These here list the 5 each ways that you can earn an endorsement. So if you want the STEM endorsement, you have 2 options, but you have to take 5 years of math or 5 years of science. So that top one, 5 years of math, the typical 5 years of math that you would take here is Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, Pre-Calculus, and then Calculus. Or if you want to take 5 years of science, you take Biology, Chemistry, and then you choose between 3 of those bottom ones, Physics, Physics 1 AP, Physics 2 AP, or Environmental Systems. For business and industry, you have to do a coherent sequence. Remember we went over the coherent sequences? So you have to complete the arts, AV, technology, and communications, or the information technology coherent sequence. If you get 4 credits in either of those coherent sequences, then you get able to graduate with business and industry endorsement. You had a question?
Oh, my question was, so I know like that also things are offering like the geometry, create algebra too. Do those fall under multidisciplinary?
They don't for the question was, do the pre-AP fall under for multidisciplinary? So not for the second option. And the second option you'll see under multidisciplinary is by successfully completing 4 AP courses. Pre-AP does not count for AP in that for multidisciplinary. Public services, you would have to complete the coherent sequence for the human services. So that's PHS, interpersonal studies, counseling, and then practicum. Arts and humanities, you would take 4 years of a foreign language. So here would be Spanish 1, 2, 3, and Spanish 4 AP. Multidisciplinary 1, you could take 4 years of each of the 4 core courses. Again, the 4x4 plan, which is highly recommended by universities, or by successfully completing 4 AP courses. So notice if you're looking over this, let's say you're developing a plan, you're like, I'm going to take 5 math courses. I want to take 5 math courses. I like math. And I know I'm probably going to take a lot of AP courses, and I definitely want to take 4 courses every year. I want to take English every year, social studies every year, math and science every year. Notice you just earned yourself 2 multidisciplinary endorsements and a STEM endorsement. So it is possible for you to get multiple endorsements, but we do ask you to choose one to follow that we can guarantee will definitely make sure you get this by the time you graduate. Question?
You have 2 multidisciplinary endorsements and like a STEM endorsement. That count as 3?
Say that again. Sorry. Multidisciplinary?
You get both.
Yeah, that counts as 3 because you got 2 different multidisciplinary ones. Well, you'll see on your program where it says multidisciplinary 1, multidisciplinary 2, and STEM. On your diploma, for your high school diploma, or not your diploma, but your transcript, it'll just say multidisciplinary and STEM. It won't show that you kind of got 2 on that. So,
but it'll still count as 3.
yeah, it'll still count as 3, like you technically earned 3 endorsements. Your transcript necessarily won't show it, but your records will.
So you can do that for STEM as well. You can do the 5 science and the 5 math.
Yeah, you could do both. And again, just to kind of remind you, and just because we're also kind of running quick on time, let's give you can hold all questions real quick for the end, or we can answer them next time, or always feel free to email me. I love the questions y'all give. Again, these methods represent how you can earn those endorsements through CSA courses only. There are numerous ways to earn each endorsement. For example, you could take 2 years of let's say art here, and then you take 2 years of theater at ACC. I kind of flipped those, and then you could earn arts and humanities. So there's numerous ways you can do it, but those are the ways that you can do it here at CSA. We have on our website, we have a good oversight of endorsements that lists options, and I'm also available here to help you out through figuring those out. Okay, that distinguished level of achievement, again, if you successfully complete 4 credits in math, including Algebra 2, 4 credits in science, and the foundation plan, as well as an endorsement, then you can graduate with the distinguished level of achievement. Universities do like to see that. It shows you, again, you're distinguished, and so it does make you a little bit more competitive. On top of that are performance acknowledgments. By doing any of the following, if you take a lot of ACC courses and get 12 hours, you get a performance acknowledgement, earning an associate's degree, taking 4 years of a foreign language with certain qualifications, earning a 4 or 5 on an AP exam, doing well on your PSAT, ACT, or ACT, certain scores, or earning a business or industry certification. Any of these will give you what's known as a performance acknowledgement. But you have to make the choice now, and it's not set in stone, but yes, we do need a starting point to develop your 4-year plan. Again, I will be scheduling an individual meeting with each of you as well as your parents or legal guardians to discuss this graduation and to develop that personal graduation plan. And before the meeting that we have, there's going to be a form for you to fill out where you'll need to let me know which program of study interests you as well as which endorsement. So the personal graduation plan, that's what we're going to develop. And House Bill 5 requires that each of you has one. And again, that's what we're going to do at our individual meeting is we're going to develop it. We're going to look for 4 years. We're going to decide courses for 4 years to develop that personal graduation plan. But primarily it contains information about courses, and it is a working document. That's the most important thing. You can and most likely will change it throughout high school. Every year we reevaluate it to see if those are the courses you still want for that next year. Okay, so with that, real quick, I do want to show you that if you go to our website and you go under Counseling Corner here for scheduling, that first link, you already went to this link for programs of study, but then this is HB5 Graduation Plans. This contains a little bit of an overview of everything we went today. The foundation plans, endorsements, distinguished level, performance acknowledgement, your state testing graduation, CPR, and speech. This also right here, if you click on it, this endorsements overview, that's one thing that I mentioned in the training or in the presentation just now. This gives you all of the different ways that you can earn each of the 5 besides just taking courses here. So this is where if you really want to get creative with it and take courses elsewhere in combination with the courses here, this is where you can look at that. So again, I thank you for your time today. I will be posting this to the website, and thanks again.